Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell here, and because of the CERB as well as the CRB, many Canadians have been cut off from income supplements that they may have been relying on for years. So we're going to go over exactly what's happened here, who exactly this affects, as well as what some people are doing to try to solve the problem. But before we do, make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep on supporting Canadian content like this, and check out the link in the description where you can get 2 free stocks when you sign up for a Wealthsimple trade account. Check that out down there in the description. But now let's get into this information, and it's specifically about something called the Guaranteed Income Supplement. You might already know that the Guaranteed Income Supplement, or GIS, is a monthly payment given out to seniors age 65 and up who are demonstrating a low income. And this support is income tested, much like other programs like EI and the Canada Child Benefit, where you don't receive as much support if you are making a higher income. And that is where the CRB and the CERB caused some major problems. If you were someone whose employment was affected by the pandemic, it's likely you may have applied for the CERB program, and the amount of times you could have applied for that in 2020, well, that was 7 times, leading to a maximum amount you could have received of $14,000 over the course of 7 months. Now, once the CERB finished, it transferred over into the CRB, and if you were applying for this benefit in 2020, just the application periods in 2020, that would have been an additional $7,000. So this one is from the original CERB, and this one is from the CRB. And likely many seniors who were receiving this guaranteed income supplement, well, they may have been able to apply for these benefits to help them through the pandemic, because many of those lower income jobs are the ones that were most heavily affected by the pandemic. And this adds up to $21,000 you could have received in benefits in the year of 2020. And that's a problem for the GIS, because one of the requirements to continue receiving this income support is that your income is below $18,984. So if you were a low income senior before the pandemic, likely receiving the GIS, potentially struggling to get by, especially with the increased cost of living here in Canada, you would have likely applied for these benefits that came out at the beginning of the pandemic, when whatever little work you may have had access to dried up. But now, since the CRB and the CERB are included in your income, you'd no longer qualify for the GIS program that was helping you to get by before the pandemic. And to make matters worse, GIS is only evaluated once per year in July, and in that July, they tell you whether or not your benefit will be renewed, and what that amount will be, whether it'll be stopped, whether it'll start or resume, or if they need more income information. So when the CRB ends, and right now that's scheduled to end at the end of October, they could potentially extend it to the end of November. But what would happen for these seniors is not only would they be cut off from the CRB benefit, but they also would not receive their GIS for this entire year, because remember, it's only evaluated once per year. So even when these benefits are no longer a problem or part of their income, boosting them above that threshold, well, it's not going to matter for the next year until July, when their income can be revalidated after they do their next year's income taxes. So obviously you can see the problem here, and it makes you wonder, hey, what's actually being done about it? Well, over the past couple of days, there actually has been more attention on this issue. Let me show you exactly what NDP leader Jagmeet Singh said just yesterday.
What Justin Trudeau is now doing, and what we've just learned, is he is clawing back the GIS payments that seniors who are struggling financially are receiving. That is such a wrong decision. It is so wrong to do that, and is really callous for Justin Trudeau to completely ignore the wealthy corporations that took money and didn't use it appropriately, and instead to focus on seniors who are struggling in this pandemic, who are struggling on fixed incomes, and who desperately rely on their guaranteed income supplement. That is an example of what Justin Trudeau's priorities are: to go after the people that are struggling and to let the wealthiest corporations off the hook. And so I want to again highlight how that is the wrong thing to do, and that Justin Trudeau should reverse that decision. We sent a letter outlining this concern and how this should not be allowed to continue.
So obviously Jagmeet Singh and the NDP are unhappy about the way things are rolling out. I think it's a little unfair though how he sort of says, hey, this is a decision that Trudeau is making. It's not an active decision, it's just the way the policy was written, and the fact that the CERB and the CRB are currently considered income when it comes to your qualification for many of these programs. Additionally, the NDP Member of Parliament Daniel Blakey sent a letter to Liberal members of Parliament asking for a prompt solution, hoping that the federal government would change its approach to slashing the guaranteed income supplement based on benefits. But actually making a change like this might be a lot more difficult than the NDP are currently making it sound. As of right now, I don't know whether or not this is something that could be changed through regulation, but if it can't be changed through regulation, well, that would mean that to make a change like this, they'd have to go through the entire legislative process, wait for the House of Commons to go back into session in September, draft new legislation, pass it through the House of Commons, pass it through the Senate, and all of that could take quite a long time. Not to mention, if there's an election, that date that they could actually go back into the House of Commons might be delayed even further. And even if they were able to legislate it, that raises some interesting questions, like if we're going to change what's counting as income for the qualification for the GIS, would that also apply to other benefits and programs like the Canada Child Benefit? It's a big mess, and unfortunately, some of the Canadians who are most at risk, seniors who are having trouble getting new work and who have historically had a low income, heavily affected by the pandemic, they're the ones taking the brunt of this issue. So it's going to be interesting to see how the government maneuvers to either potentially sort of leave this as it is with a full year of no GIS for people who would have otherwise qualified, or if they're going to be able to make some change. But either way, I'll let you know if anything in particular happens, so make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay posted. And while you're down there, make sure to leave me a comment and let me know, what do you think about all of this? What do you think should be done? I know it's definitely a tricky situation, and I don't see a very easy way out of it, but regardless, let me know what you think. And if you haven't already done so, check out the links in the description where there's tons of information about learning more about building your wealth here in Canada, and you can also open up a Wealthsimple account and get 2 free stocks when you do so if you want to continue to support the channel. But with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video has helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.